Hello and welcome to the Last Level Gamescast. My name's Jason, as the name says on the bottom. That's Phil. That's Var. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
Don't shake your head at me. This is our podcast where we talk about video games and other shit.
Yeah.
Right? How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
How's life?
A little disappointed in the show, but good otherwise.
The show, yeah. So you played some of the show. It's the same.
Find my old save.
Oh, that's why you started a new character.
I couldn't find my old save, so I had to start a brand new character, and that really pissed me off.
And to further punish you, you were on the Red Sox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're a Yankee fan.
To the freaking Red Sox.
That's good.
God damn it.
Makes sense. Yeah, it found my old save, but I had forgot where I was. Mm-hmm. And I'm like 99 overall, like, you know.
So it's not worth it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start a new one. But I created an online franchise.
Okay.
And I may have created both of you guys in it with me.
Uh-oh.
I do that kind of shit, you know that. I do it with Madden. No, you're not closer. You're shortstop.
Shut shit down.
You're a shortstop.
Oh, all right.
You're deluded.
Whatever.
I needed a shortstop.
So I made a shitty one.
Yeah. No, you're decent.
You're decent.
I wanted to give you room to grow.
So
that's his way of saying I wouldn't say shitty, but yeah.
No, yeah, so I've been playing a lot of the show. You know what bothered me? The thing that bothered me the most was the tutorial stuff. Like, because I did a play now, and then I was like, I won't shut it off yet. But then it kept going on, and I get it. But I know how to play it, so maybe that's why it bothered me. I don't like, and I 100% get it, but I don't like the rewards you get.
Oh.
Because I don't use any of that. So like when you play games, you get cards for basically, Ultimate Team.
Dynasty.
Yeah, and they call it Diamond Dynasty. Yeah, and that in the show, certain gear you get. I think it's interesting. I just don't know how often I'm going to use it because again, like the guy I imported was pretty high level anyway. So I was like, let me see how this looks when I restart my character, and then we'll go from there.
I get it.
Used
they're giving everyone a reason to buy packs, so hopefully they sell stuff.
Okay.
But you can also buy a multiplier, so you can buy a 2x multiplier for all your points that you get for 120 games for a certain amount of stubs.
Okay.
I get it. It's annoying that I didn't get any of my stubs from last year.
They didn't carry over. Yeah.
Nope. So I have no stubs.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my character. What do you think of the new pitching?
I haven't played with it yet. Oh, you're talking about the meter?
Well, the meter you can use.
I use the meter I've always used.
Yeah, but what does it show you on the screen? Like mine shows
where
the release point is.
Yeah.
And then where the ball's gonna go.
I didn't understand that at first, and then it made sense, and I like it because I like where it shows. I actually think that's super cool.
I didn't understand it till I brought in a different pitcher.
And you saw it was different.
And his release point, because it was sidearm, was way the fuck out here, and I'm like, what? Oh,
yeah.
That's where he lets go. Okay.
It's
I like
cool
it because it shows what balls break more and how they might actually look to the hitter.
And how they look thrown from different pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can't hit.
Me neither. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Oh.
Are you? So I have, and the thing is, I guess I can go online and figure out what people do, but I don't like doing that with that game. But I play an All-Star, and you guess pitches, but I feel like sometimes there's always a huge penalty for guessing wrong, which makes sense, I guess, because you're looking at a certain part of the plate for a ball, and you're reacting. But because of that, I can never hit home runs, and I'll get singles and doubles once in a while. But when I get people on base, I end up double playing into it.
I'll take a couple singles. Everything I hit, they're like, hit with power, out.
I never hit with power because anytime I do, it never works. Never works. I more often accidentally hit home runs. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I'm just like,
you're just swinging.
Yeah.
It goes.
No.
I'm trying the trick you taught me last season with the plate vision.
Yes.
So I brought my plate vision to 70.
It's good.
And I still suck. So I'm gonna try to get it to 80. See where I'm at.
Are you using, like, are you beefing up other stuff too? Because
I don't have enough points yet.
okay,
So I literally, I'm sorry, I brought my power both up to 50, I think.
okay,
Left to right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
It takes tweaking, yeah.
threw my plate vision up.
Yeah, I mean, your play vision matters, but you still have to hit the ball.
Yeah.
So just remember that. It's
Well,
like I'm at 99. What's your contact? 3.
Yeah. Well, plate vision though gets you that foul ball when you need it. And
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
kind of shit.
yep,
that I
yep.
like, so.
You keep a longer batting.
Yeah.
Longer at bats. So we're just we'll get into it now, and first thing on the docket, guys, this week, The Division.
Yeah.
It's been out for a while now.
Yeah.
Everybody's played it already.
Played it already.
There's still, a community. I see a lot of Twitch streamers still playing it.
Yeah.
But Phil, you played it. I played it. What are your thoughts on The Division?
So I think you summed it up when you said we played it. Man, what a fucking letdown.
Yes.
I'll go on the record of saying both of us said we weren't going to buy it, and then we bought it. It's kind of what we do.
I mean, it's on more than a record. Like, we mentioned it, at least in 3 other episodes. We sold out, and, in fairness, we were trying to be,
give it the benefit.
Yeah,
And it shouldn't have had it. It's just not done.
No.
Like, the game isn't fucking done. You hit 30, there's not shit to do. The Dark Zone, great idea, horrible in practice. Because you either get these areas where everybody helps each other, and then the Dark Zone might as well be a fucking PvE area and it doesn't matter. Or you get areas where you can't even enter the fucking area because you just get murdered on sight every single time.
It's the Wild West.
Yeah.
And it's fun in theory, but it can be frustrating for people who play solo and,
And that's the problem is, so to get better gear, you have to do the Dark Zone. But to do the Dark Zone, you have to have people to play with you, otherwise you just get ganked all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just not fun. Like, there's nothing good about it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is there's no they do this really cool thing where if something's one level above you, it might as well be 100 because it hits like a goddamn truck and it absorbs everything you fucking throw at it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then this is a weird complaint, and I think VAR will understand what I mean by this, is they started with the damage numbers being way too high. Like, right now, my gun does 110k DPS. And this game hasn't even had an update yet. So, that means, like, a year from now, they're going to be having guns that do over 1 million DPS.
But it's feel good.
Right, but it's too much too quick. I know that.
Yes,
Bart, you know that.
But
Right.
it's feel good. It's somebody who just plays the game, and when you make the numbers that high, every little bit that you increase feels like a drastic increase.
Yep.
So
But that's their fuck up. And VAR, you know that. You know that. It's good for the beginning, but when you release that expansion or that next set of content, and you have to bump the numbers up again, and then the next one, and you have to bump them again, you go way too high, way too fucking quick.
Well, it's not just that. Eventually, somebody's going to be looking at the numbers they're doing against later tier stuff, and the math is not going to make sense.
Yep.
You're going to be sitting there like, I just did 1 billion damage to this guy.
Yeah. In the face, he's alive.
Yes. Yeah, and he's still running at you, and just, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. So I think my drawbacks from it. Now, I played only up to level 13, and then I saw what the game was, and I was just like, this isn't for me. I think it's a good entry point for people that have never that like shooters.
Yeah.
That want to get into MMO style games because they don't know any better.
Right.
Because I think for me, I don't know as much as you guys as far as MMOs.
Yeah.
But I would say it was enjoyable for me, but I think over time I've never I have trouble with MMOs in general. Just that grind. I got to level 13 and I realized I was kind of in a place where I was in limbo where I couldn't do the main story missions because I had to go up one more level, and they're pretty hard even when you're by yourself one level down. but like the side missions didn't give me enough XP quick enough because I did all like the meta, because they have like 3 branches that you do side missions for that get you the most XP. Then they have like small side missions that get you little XP or maybe some better gear, better schematics. And I was just like, I've played this enough. Like I'm done with it. The whole like there's not a lot of diversity as far as like boss battles or harder enemies. They all do the same thing.
Yeah, there's none.
It doesn't challenge you. Then I looked on YouTube, and like the end game, like the last boss is a helicopter that's really like when I saw that I was just like, I'm done. I'm done.
That helicopter is easier than anything else in the game.
Yeah.
Like the helicopter is literally a joke to beat.
Yeah.
But I think to touch on what Jay is saying is their idea of difficulty is to give the guy more health and add more of them. Like, it's not to change mechanics, it's not to change tactics, it's not to change what they do.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know what? Instead of just one dude with a shotgun with way too much health, we're going to give you 5 with a shotgun with way too much health. And by the way, they all just sprint at you and don't give a fuck that you're shooting them.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you said I could solo stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And I'd like you fellas to keep in mind the whole discussion we had before about why they're not releasing this to viewers early.
Yep.
And my point being, this is exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see until probably next week or the week after. We're not going to see how well it did as far as sales. The sales charts. It's gonna do great.
It did great.
It already
They said it was the #1 franchise.
So
there you go.
It did amazing. I don't think I think it's gonna have a hard time keeping its player base, especially with Destiny putting its April updates out.
Yeah.
And then look, I'm gonna throw this out there. The game's unfinished, right? There is no end game. There is nothing to do. The game is just an unfinished mess. And the one thing I kept hearing is people are like, well, you put 20 hours into it. You put 30 hours into it. Like, what did you expect? First of all, I expected to put hundreds of hours because that's what it was sold as. Second of all, as a single-person cover shooter, it sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if the same thing happened to you, Jay, but I would get stuck in cover.
Yeah.
I would get stuck trying to run past cover. I would mean to move over through color, and then my guy would just stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Like their system
or
of
jump
cover,
or jump over something by accident.
Their system of cover sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So if that part of it sucks, and it doesn't have an end game, I don't understand why so many outlets fucking give it so much praise. I don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's unfinished. It's just this. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then you get another 8K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a thought, and it's a terrifying thought.
Oh.
What if they don't feel it's unfinished, and what if their method was just really, really simplistic?
Well, look,
then mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But isn't...
No, I know. There's an argument for that because I think if that's their model, I think the way they kind of sold it when they first launched it is 100% not what this game was.
Right.
So I think they were.
You remember when we first saw that?
Yeah, you can say it's gonna. They were ambitious and stuff like that, but I don't think their execution of what they sold us, as far as literally what they said that the game was going to be, it wasn't there. You know what I mean? But it's Ubisoft. You know what I mean? Like they have certain franchises that work and that are good, but they also, like, you can tell they have a history of putting out like half-finished games or like empty games. Yeah. Watch Dogs was Assassin's Creed but emptier and wasn't as it was just a copy model of that. This game, and I don't understand why they call it a Tom Clancy game. Like, other than brand recognition,
that's it.
That's it's not fair. Because like when I think about it, and I thought because let's be honest, we compare this to Destiny, right? And Phil, you mentioned a good part where you said like you put 30 hours into a game. My problem with the game in comparison to Destiny is I had no problem burning through that game, grinding through that game. Remember when we first got it? We easily put like 50 hours into it, like in the first week and stuff like that, because it was fun. It was so much fun to do.
Straight up fun.
And granted, that game also was, unfinished, but there was still so much to do even with an unfinished game, and I think that's what this game is missing.
Yeah.
At least for me, there are people that play it, but again, I don't think. I think the general consensus is that the websites that review games, I think a lot of them have mixed feelings about it, but they tend to be a little bit more generous with it. Because I've seen some review scores for this. I've seen websites give it a 5 out of 5, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I looked at the comparison with Destiny's release reviews, and Destiny overall did better, but there's still a kind of evenness to it, and I'm just like, those games aren't even. I'm sorry, I think the idea of the bullet sponge hurts that game because it just, you think about like realistic games like that, and you need it to feel realistic,
Right.
And all in all, me and Phil were talking about it, I think when we talk about like this game getting a free pass, it's one of those things where I think they did, but I also think it's acceptable to give them a free pass because it's just how it is now, Like, we're okay with these unfinished games. We buy them anyways at launch. They end up justifying it by saying that their sales, it's just like those, we were talking about off the show, we were talking about Batman vs Superman, how people were bashing the shit out of it, but it still did so well in the box office. It's kind of a double standard, and they could care less kind of how it reviews as long as it sells, and it did. So, but fuck that game.
Yeah, seriously.
So, moving on, talking about another kind of funky.
Another fuck up. No, another fuck up.
Another, yeah. So Dark Souls 3 came out in Japan last week. Is coming out next week? 2 weeks from now? I think it's the 12th. At least a week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, a week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah.
And it's already been on Twitch. Mm-hmm. Now, fill us in on that a little bit as far as what you've seen and why it's kind of already out, but not.
So the Twitch streamers in Namco Bandai's try to pacify them for it being out in Japan first, right? Because if you really wanted to, a Japanese streamer could stream the whole game on Twitch, then everyone loses their viewers and they go watch that, right? So what they did is they gave everybody the first third of the game. They gave them the whole game and told them, hey, you can stream the first third of it on PC. So that was cool. And then an Xbox little fuck up came around, or glitch, whatever you want to call it, where basically you in America could buy the Japanese version, the English version of the Japanese game. So it was an international version that's in the Japanese marketplace. Okay, so then you can go ahead and play that game. You can play all of it. You can play it all the way through. So it caused a lot of problems on Twitch because people who shouldn't have been playing it through started playing it through. It actually moved Namco Bandai to asking nobody to stream any part of the game. I know some still are, but they went out there and did that to the people at least they partnered with. And were like, hey, we don't want you streaming anything. Like, you're an asshole. You went out and bought the Xbox version and did it. Whatever, loophole, however you feel about that. But what made it worse, and the reason they didn't want that one streamed or showed or played, is because it's actually not the final retail version. The Xbox One English version is missing its day one patch. So the going theory about it... Yeah, right? The going theory about it is that game is the one that the journalists were allowed to play at the last... not GDC, the last big convention.
Yeah.
The problem is the bosses were easier at that convention than they're supposed to be in the game. Because if you have a half an hour, it doesn't help if you just die 50 million times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the people who played the full thing in that faker release supposedly have a easier game to play. So long story short, they really fucking dropped the ball on this. If they just released it everywhere at once, it would have been fine.
You say that.
But they didn't.
But to be perfectly honest, from personal experience, when the game comes out first, it is at its easiest. And that was true with Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and maybe even Bloodborne. I didn't look into Bloodborne that hard. They patched the game harder.
Okay.
There's a ton of exploits. Like I remember in Dark Souls 1, you could skip half the game.
Yeah.
You
Bloodborne,
could
you can jump
Bloodborne
to
was
the
the
end.
same.
Yeah.
They
well,
found a wall you could jump over.
it's the fence. I remember the
Mm-hmm.
fence.
Yeah.
That's cutting down a lot of game.
Yeah.
In Dark Souls 2,
Yeah.
well, it was either Dark Souls 1, you could just like, well, it says I have to kill 5 bosses, but what if I make it 1?
And then it just opens. That's
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
and then you could just keep going cuz you could skip a lot of the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, they eventually find these things out,
Yeah.
patch them, and they also patch things that you might not be considering glitches, that they're
They
just like
consider a glitch.
watching
Okay.
people and saying this is too easy for them.
Yeah.
And you can't reuse your old save file once you have an update.
Right.
So, long story short, the game is supposed to be much harder than it is day one.
Right.
And that's always been the case. So, you've seen somebody playing the game, the quote unquote, watered down version of the game.
Yeah.
To an extent, is what you see people doing with any version of the game that isn't way down the road patched.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I remember there's one patch where you could just sit under a dragon and kill it with arrows,
And just nothing happened.
and under a guide, I just saw in big red letters they patched it. Yeah, it's that kind of game.
Yeah.
That's good.
See, I can understand patches like that because players have a unique ability to find the biggest exploits ever. But this is just a straight up, they never even meant to release the game like this.
Yeah.
Which, if they released it all at the same time, they would have been able to control that better because you wouldn't have this Japanese loophole. Or you would have had it, just no one would have had a reason to do it. Does that make sense? Like, no one would have had a reason for it. The going theory is that it was to get their sales into the first quarter of the next year or the second quarter.
Well, that's
to
what I was going to
get their
ask you.
sales in a quarter.
Do you think this hurts them in the long run?
No.
I don't know. I
don't
don't know
think it
enough
does
about. Well, I don't know enough about sales because, like, I don't know if it's bought from the Japanese market, if it works differently for their sale. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I don't know if that translates differently for their sales. And I mean, it'll hurt from that perspective, but no, they're gonna sell a shit ton.
Yeah. Yeah, this game's gonna sell regardless. So just kind of along the same lines as this. So Twitch is a big thing, right? And Let's Plays are a big thing. Since we're talking about the Dark Souls thing. Now this game in particular doesn't. It does benefit from streaming.
Yeah.
From people seeing it and stuff like that, because there's definitely different ways to beat the game.
Yes.
And different play styles. There are some games though that you can make an argument it hurts. The studio that's making the game. We all saw an article about a developer from the maker of Dragon That Cancer, I think the game is.
Yeah.
And he was talking about this, and he kind of took a light tone to his opinion of it, in that the nutshell is the fact that there's so many Let's Plays and people streaming that game in particular, they haven't seen it, the sales reflect the reviews and stuff like that. It's not doing as well as they expected it to. Right. Again, he doesn't want to, you can tell he doesn't want to bash, Let's Plays, stuff like that, because he sees the benefit of it, and, he knows that he'll get a whole bunch of people saying, hating on that, because that's how the internet is, right? But how do you guys feel about, games now that you can see most games played 100% through? How do you guys feel about that? Because I know, Phil, you and I pretty much watch Twitch on the regular for certain. Like, I'll watch, like right now I watch this one guy play UFC all the time just because I like, his commentary, and I like to watch that game. But Var, you don't watch a lot of Twitch, right? So
not too much.
Let me ask you, why don't you watch a lot of Twitch?
One of the reasons I don't watch a lot of Twitch is because the games I really love are choice-based games.
Okay.
And even on a personal level, like I try not to be mean about it, but if I were to sit down and watch you play Dark Souls or a strategy game, the second
I'll die
it's
a
like
lot.
when a friend of mine watches me play Madden and I make a mistake
He's talking about
and
me.
and he can't let it go.
I can't.
He has to judge me
Oh shit!
or tell me how
I
I should
do.
have done something better.
I do.
Pick 6.
That's irritating.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's more irritating for me to voluntarily do that with somebody else playing a game that I'm not playing.
Yeah.
To watch them do what I consider a mistake
Yeah.
or, something like that. And
Yeah.
the other reason I don't really watch Twitch too much is because if it's not a game like that, and this comes to the point of this situation right here, if your game is essentially so linear that it's a movie,
Yeah.
I don't have to watch someone play it. I can just watch it on YouTube as a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with those two options, actually playing the game myself and not being irritated with the choices I make, other than, my errors, and watching the game as a movie on YouTube,
Yep.
good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think what you run into with this game in particular, right? Because it's kind of a different beast. It's more of a story, right? It's selling. I watch a ton of Twitch, and if that was a game I knew I wanted to see or wanted to play, I wouldn't watch it. And with that being said, if it's a game that one of the people I regularly watch just so happened to be playing and I watched it, I wouldn't buy it. And I mean that from like, well, if I've already walked through the whole plot and we've already seen it all, I don't need to fucking buy it. A game like Dark Souls, I'm going to play because I watched this dude do it, but I want to know if I can do it. I want to know how well I can do it. I want to know, like what character I build out. Maybe I go Faith or whatever. But like that's the part of it that I want to see. Like there's enough to do past the story.
Yes.
That it still works for me.
Yeah.
But if it's a story-heavy game and I watch it, like great example, Firewatch. I'm not gonna buy or play Firewatch. I watched a guy play all of Firewatch. Why? There's literally it'd be like someone reading me a book, and then being like, "Well, do you want to buy the book?" You told me all of it, right? Like you realize there's nothing else there. And I think he has a really good point that this could be a problem. Like Jay said, he put it very eloquently, very trying not to flat out say things.
Yeah.
But I think he's right, and I think maybe he should have done more to protect his game against it, and either sent takedown notices or asked them not to. Just personally been like, hey, I'll give you a copy. Just please don't stream it. Maybe wait a month.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
And that's not gonna.
Everybody's gonna do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
it does help. Yeah.
Right. Let's be honest. You go to the top 30 streamers, top 40 streamers who would play a game like that, and honestly, that's a couple thousand people, or 10 or 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 that are watching, right?
Yep.
So I think that helps a lot.
I mean, even if they try to limit, like how much, like they do with Dark Souls, how much of the game you can put on there, it's still kind of like a weird situation because people will find a way around that. I just think it is an interesting like topic of discussion because I think, as I look at it, I wonder to myself like where it's going to go from here because I think he does have a case, but he also made a game. That he made they made that game that way, right? To be an experience, and I understand like his frustration with it, but at the end of the day, maybe it worries me that maybe it steers developers in a way like that they don't make the game that they want because
100%.
Yeah, it's 100%. A double-edged sword, right? And at the same time, I wonder, maybe this is why Nintendo does what they do,
right?
And maybe they're right for kind of like they don't necessarily say don't play our games, but they restrict it in a way that they can monetize it still.
Exactly. And I think that's the big difference. I think that if those streamers gave him money, that they made off of playing his game.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need to get there, right? We
Yeah.
almost need to get to the point where, like, hey, that's great. You literally made money streaming my entire property
Yep.
while going, right?
Yeah.
By being a talking head.
Yeah.
So, because you're right, Nintendo had it set up that they could be like, hey, by the way, we want royalties for you making money off our fucking game.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Something
I
along the
think Jay's
lines of intellectual property tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Jay's right. Is that's scary that people might not develop games because they're like, well, I'm not going to make money from it
Yeah.
because they're going to
Well-
stream it a couple times and we're done.
But the other side of that is the way you make games. I don't
Yeah.
believe you have to look at this as the like opt out example of this is why I won't make games.
Yeah.
As much as you can look at it as one, if I make a game that's entertaining with the story elements that gives players whatever else they can choose to do,
Yeah.
then essentially if you make it entertaining enough and not a movie, all those Twitch streamers are advertising instead of
Right. No,
your
no, no.
downfall.
No, I get that, and like we said at the beginning, it's a very specific type of game.
Yes.
So what we're
yes.
talking about is not making, you can't make an experience get streamed now,
Yeah.
right? Because you only need to experience it once.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. And like we get, like, you can make other games, you can put other things into your game to make it more appealing, make other people play it. But if you don't want to do that, if you just want to make it an experience, if you want to force people down a road of like, I want you to feel this, I want you to understand this, that might go away. They make games now specifically for Steam. Not Steam, holy shit.
For Twitch. Yeah.
I just started Steam. I'm trying to find a certain game that I played. If they're making games for Twitch, then will they make games specifically
Not for Twitch.
around this problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting thing that we're gonna. Something's gonna happen, at some point. Don't know when, but.
You played Among the Sleep, right?
Yes.
Think about that game.
Yeah. It's the
If
same
that
way.
was streamed, would you play it?
I wouldn't need to. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't
That's
need
what
to.
I mean. Like, it's
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
But, like,
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's an interesting issue that developers are coming across. Because they're trying to make. At the end of the day, like, they're making games, for whatever reason, whether they love to make certain games, whether they want to make money, but at the end of the day, they need money, right, to keep making games. And
Which is another
you
point to how eloquent he wrote it. He was really quick to say the first thing we did with any of the money we made was pay off all the money we owed people.
right.
And the second thing we wanted to do was pay off the dude who made the soundtrack,
yeah,
which is a really nice way of saying, I want you to pay for this,
Yeah.
but this isn't going into my pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Albeit if it made tons of money, it would.
Right.
But the way he worded it was really like he gave you so many aspects of this isn't as simple as you think.
Right. Yep.
Like I owed people money because this is a process that took 3 years.
Yep.
There's a guy who, as much as you enjoyed the gameplay, there's a guy who put the music to it who'd also like to get paid.
yeah, yeah.
There's
Sorry.
more to this. And he's right. He's completely right. But it's just when you make something, it's to me, if you make a movie, you expect certain elements from a movie.
Mhm.
If you make a game, you expect certain elements from a game. The
Mhm.
things that make a game safe from the realm of solely being streamed
Mhm.
are all the aspects that
Make it
don't a
unique.
movie.
Yeah, make it unique.
Yeah,
Yes.
but with that being said, you can't stream a movie.
What do you mean?
Well, you
So like the
can't.
only reason movies don't have this problem is because you
Mhm.
can't stream them.
Oh, well, that's
It's literally the only reason they don't have this problem.
no. You can't say
'Cause
that's
you
the
can
only
review
reason
them, you can
because
talk about them like a video
yes,
game,
but
but
even
you can't.
even
I can't
after
go
that
onto
point,
someone's channel and
you can
watch
go
it.
see a movie
Yeah,
and then it'll still, because it's a movie and it's designed to be an experience, it'll still sell. It'll still sell afterwards. Like people will still want to experience it again.
What?
Yeah, like he's saying like
Like buying a DVD
yeah,
Yeah, but
after you've seen the film.
right. But what I'm saying is, you can't buy that DVD and show it to 30,000 people at one time,
I get you. I get you.
and then all 30,000 people don't buy a film.
I get you.
And that's what they think the difference is. And as video games expand, we've accepted these experiences into video games as an art, like Journey, about Journey, right?
Yes.
And we accepted those. So I think we need almost to protect them, almost to do something that, like, even if they added, like, hey, do you want to donate to the developer? Like, while they played that game.
Mhm.
Something. They have to do something that doesn't spit on the person who they're making all their money from.
Yeah.
That always blew my mind about Twitch and about Let's Plays.
Mhm.
Is they're literally taking somebody else's property, showing it, and being like, well, this is what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's cool with it.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, for the most part, except Nintendo.
Yeah.
For the most part, everybody's just like, yeah, and then these people get... Look, I get it. Not every Twitch streamer makes a shit ton of money, but there's some that do.
Mhm.
And
the other aspect of that is the skill element.
yeah,
You're watching somebody who's leads you to believe, in most cases, is good enough to give you the entire experience of a game.
Mhm.
Where there's not much to be said for me buying a game, however much it costs,
yeah,
and then I find it's too difficult for me.
Yeah.
And I never get to experience all that.
Yeah.
So it does have some validity.
Yeah.
That's why Dark Souls should have difficulty levels.
Anyway, we should move
We're
on.
not. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
And all these fools will see it.
Moving on. Var, you have an interesting game that you want to talk about a little bit. Why don't you fill everybody in on what it is?
So, I saw this game called Pamela, and I'm a fan of BioShock.
Yeah.
A lot. A whole bunch. It takes elements from BioShock and gives you such a beautiful, streamlined experience.
Mm-hmm.
And,
it's like it's a first person.
It's a first person
shooter.
And it's a survival based first person shooter. There are things you need to keep you alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's permadeath, and if you die, you start over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's like it's in space.
For some people, that's
it's like it takes place in space. Yeah, it's futuristic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's elements they added to it, like the interface they have on the forearm just puts every menu I've seen in a video game to shame.
Yeah.
What's it look like?
It's a hollow, just light-based visual on the forearm that you can just select whatever you want to instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Not popping from inventory menu to regular menu back to gameplay or anything like that. It's just so streamlined.
Yeah.
And the game itself is beautiful. The only thing, and it's still in development.
Yeah.
The only knock I had on it was that the AI seemed horrible.
Yeah.
It did, but everything else I saw just I don't know how else to describe it, but like when you see something that you didn't know you wanted, and the moment you see it, you're like, I've been looking for you my whole life,
and I didn't even know it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. So look out for Pamela.
Yes.
That's a free plug. There you go, developers. All right, so moving on. It's VR block time.
Yay, VR. Best thing ever.
So.
VR.
Can't all be winners.
Oculus Rift is out.
Yay.
The Vive is soon. PlayStation VR got announced.
A while from now.
October. I called it.
You did.
I said fall.
Man, I'm so mad. I really thought they were gonna E3 date it.
Yeah. Was it $400 with without the camera?
So it's $399.
$399
for the core unit.
Core unit.
And then $499 for the shit you need to play it.
Elaborate.
So camera, 2 move units, and then a game is $4.99.
The core unit is just a headset?
Just the headset. So not the camera. So if you need a camera,
because you can play it with a controller.
yes, you can play games with the controller.
So what if I have a camera?
Then you just get the core unit, and that's it. You're done.
How come I need the move controllers?
For some games, you will need move controller. For some games, you don't need move controller. Some games, it enhances it. Other games, it does nothing.
I gotta find out how much these move controllers are.
Don't buy them old. Don't buy them used. They're like apparently. So this announcement went out, and people flooded eBay with selling and buying the old move controllers.
Yeah.
To find out the batteries are all dead.
That's good. That's good.
And because it's Sony, it's a proprietary battery, so you can't just replace the battery.
That's good. That'll be good. Oculus Rift is reviewing pretty well.
Yeah, look, everything they've said is they're like, it works well, looks great.
The bar is so high.
It is. I'll tell you, Giant Bomb they played every single game that you could, right? They did just a way too long broadcast. I did not watch all of it. But I'll tell you this, the games were simple.
Yeah, they have to be.
They
right
were... honestly, they're stuff you would have considered for last gen.
Yeah.
They're not the most gorgeous looking things in the world. I think that from everything I saw from the Oculus, it makes me think that. So my hope was that VR comes and just takes over consoles, but it kind of sets up like a parallel world now, where like some is VR, some is not VR, and you have to decide depending on what you want the most. If you want a little bit more control through gameplay, or do you want it to look that much crisper? At least now, just because of where we're at. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's just not much out. The Steam store is a fucking mess.
You know what is out for VR?
What?
Porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
We did it. We arrived, everybody.
Porn is
That is up and running. That's good.
It is.
You don't have to worry about it.
It's doing better than the Steam store.
It's gonna do better than the Steam store.
We'll see when the Vive rolls out.
Yeah.
That maybe the Steam store gets better because they'll be more inclined to, because Oculus has its own store.
Yeah.
It looks good. I don't know.
Yeah, I think honestly, I was talking to somebody about it. They were like, "What do you think of VR?" And it's I think it's gonna stay parallel. I think it's gonna have its games and stuff like that. I think you're gonna have a tough time finding developers that want to make a VR game and like a kind of a hybrid.
Yep.
So you're gonna have separate games for VR and separate games for consoles and stuff like that. And you're gonna have people that like dabble in both but aren't just committed to it, and everything like that. So it's going to stay like this at least for the next couple of years, and you're going to get like all the simplistic games at least this year, which is why I always said we're not ready for VR as much as everybody wants to push it and stuff like that, but it's out there now, so it is what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing what else is going to come out.
I pre-ordered it.
You did. It's okay. No one's judging you.
I pre-ordered
I'm judging the shit out of it.
There's that.
Look.
I'm just gonna go over and use it, so I'm just gonna use it.
I have.
Yeah, that's why he's not judging.
Yeah, I'm not judging. Yeah.
I want to know what's going on.
If I judge him, he won't let me play.
So. Fuck you, man. Man, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then the thing I thought was the funniest is you have the Vive, the Rift, and PlayStation VR.
Mm-hmm.
So we're right back to 3 console makers who we don't know. Are they going to have exclusives? Are they going to have stuff that only runs with them? And we don't know that stuff yet.
Yeah, especially right off the bat, they're gonna what I mean? Because it's one of those things where they want people to buy a Rift versus a PlayStation VR and things like that. So at least you're gonna see certain games be exclusive.
And then the HoloLens dev kits just went out.
Yeah, how much for those?
Microsoft,
a lot.
Gs.
Yeah.
Something like 3Gs.
Yeah.
But those dev kits just went out, which realistically looks next E3 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We hear something about it. HoloLens coming to.
Yeah, I'm more excited about augmented reality than virtual reality, at least right now. You know, and I just think I look forward to that more.
Unless we're talking about Pokemon Go, because that's like an augmented reality thing that I want desperately. Some beta testing in Japan.
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
You go out in the wild and catch Pokemon.
Just think about how crazy you look doing that.
Excuse you.
You know, it's just like, who's that guy on the lawn? Just hold on, I just got a Squirtle, gotta go. Like,
you say that until I'm walking down, and then there's another guy in another corner, and I have to stop and battle him because he made eye contact.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Then we
in
both
your mind, that looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, right?
Well, because there's two of us.
Yeah, so you're not alone.
As the group grows, you guys look crazy, not us.
Oh, yeah,
Then we start beating you up because we're like, where's your Pokemon to protect you? Bah, 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 bah.
This was your bully logic as a kid, wasn't it?
The world's going to get there, man.
Well,
the world's going to get there.
It is a time of Revenge of the Nerds, you know? Nerds are cool now, so, you know.
We're going to lose that pretty soon. But
the few have become the many.
Yeah.
But seriously, Pokemon Go is ridiculous.
Oh, I want it so bad. Like when I go for hikes and stuff, that'd be dope as shit. Bring my phone with me.
No.
Why?
Just go on a fucking hike.
No, I don't like nature.
Don't get killed on the hike, because then they're gonna report that a part of you being missing.
Like, who's that asshole in the tree? Like,
he was playing Pokemon Go, so the search efforts kind of.
Oh, bless his heart.
Walks off cliff while catching Charizard.
That's what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna die from doing that. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm just gonna get a little closer.
You know, now there's laws about crossing the street with your phone. Yeah. So Pokemon Go is gonna further that law. You know, it's like, what happened? He's chasing a fucking Charizard. You know. That's what's gonna happen.
God, I can't wait till I break a leg because I'm tripping over a rock. Anyway, whatever.
It's gonna be the highlight.
It's my life. I'm allowed to do this.
Yeah, I guess.
Except in New Jersey.
So we talk about the state of VR.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the state of consoles in general.
Oh.
So the past week, there's been updates on kind of the direction of consoles. Yeah. PlayStation, Xbox. So PlayStation is coming out with a 4.5, PlayStation 4.5, 4.5. They're gonna have a 4K like output. It's not 4K.
There's no way.
It's 4K like.
Such bullshit.
So they're banking on their console. They're gonna further. I think it's gonna be slimmer. I've heard. I hope it's quieter. Because.
Does yours sound super loud playing the show?
Yeah, it's pushing it.
Holy fuck,
it's pushing it. Yeah. It's obviously because it's so compact. It has no space to breathe. But, what else do they got? They got, they got the VR coming out.
Yeah.
And then as far as NX goes, there's been a shit ton of weird leaks and weird information. And, as we get closer to E3 and, I know Nintendo kind of does their own thing. So, it's kind of weird. We saw that fake looking PS Vita, Hey Arnold football looking thing that it was claimed that it was leaked and everything. At first it was real, then it was leaked. Then somebody else put out another one that looked more like a 3DS shell without the flip top. That said, okay, this is more probably what we're going to be looking at as far as controller. It looks like Gamepad 2, but more square.
Yep.
And then we have the Xbox, who they're constantly talking about the new universal platform that they're going to have for cross-play. They mentioned cross-network play for people that got a lot of people excited, which I think is it's more of a it's a genius marketing stunt. It's like they're pivoting themselves to be like, hey, we're going to be the ones that are going to bend and do everything for the gamers. We love you guys,
But you know what makes it even fucking better?
What?
Is because now, just because your friend has a PlayStation, you can buy an Xbox. Because don't worry, you'll still be able to play with them. We know you like Xbox better.
Yeah,
you don't have to be the same as your friends. You'll be able to play together. It doesn't matter.
I feel like it's not going to happen. I think
it's not going to.
It's not going to happen.
There's no fucking way.
You know, because then
It
it's
would be stupid.
yeah, because then they're all putting themselves in a position where it's like, well, we might as well just have one console, and they're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So,
Dreams.
so dreams, right? Yeah. What do you guys think of like everything, all this news? What are you least excited about? What are you most excited about? You know, I think my PlayStation is putting themselves in the same position they were with the PlayStation 2,
Mhm.
where it's like, wow, hear me out. This is huge. This is successful. Like, we love it. You know, this is gonna work as long as forever.
Mhm.
And then they're gonna kind of slack off in the next console that they put out, and they're gonna be put in that position where they're trying to validate why you need a PS3.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit of like hubris.
Yeah.
You know, right now I think which is fine. They're banking on it, and I think more and more. And I think Phil will disagree with me on this, but I think more and more like the whole console war thing is kind of being exhausted and like over exaggerated because there are a lot of people that own both consoles.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier to do that now, so people don't worry about that as much. But you know, they're trying to find reasons for you to play their console and stay online, stay active. So you know, you have exclusives and things like that. But Xbox is impressing me. You know, like they're really just trying to innovate and get people thinking about what the next step is, not just what their console is. And I think maybe part of it is because their console is a little bit behind, but you know, that's fine. And you know, it puts them in a position to be aggressive. I just really want to know what Nintendo's doing. Like I really do.
We all do, Jay.
Not far.
Not far. Hasn't cared about Nintendo in ever. No, I think you're right. I think it's funny because PS4 got so much praise for listening to the people and listening to the consumer and doing what's right for them, and they still can with a 4.5. They'd have to give like an upgrade path. They'd have to say, look, we're coming out with a 4.5. We get it. PS4 owners, you made us. Send your console and $50, we'll ship you a new one. Or we'll upgrade your machine for you.
That'd be great. They're not going to do that, but that'd be great. That's a good idea.
They need to do something that appeases the PlayStation 4 users, because I'd be much more receptive to this is if they came in at the beginning, either company, and said, look, here's the console we're selling you. It's upgradable. We're going to sell you a new graphics card in 2 years. We're going to do this, and, you know, we're going to give it the potential to get better later on. And that I'd be okay with. I think the problem is we go into this expecting 6-7 years of support and, like, thorough support just to get 3 years in with no fucking games from Sony. Like, let's be clear about that. No fucking games from Sony. Like, first-party landmark games. The first one we're going to get is Uncharted. Up until now, it's all been third-party or second-party.
Okay.
So, this whole time without real support from Sony, and then they're like, by the way, we're going to introduce a new console.
Yeah.
It's going to run better. It's going to have better graphics. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't sit right with me. And then, it's not doing 4K gaming. Like, it might do 4K Netflix and 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. But 4K gaming, you're out of your fucking mind. There's a ton of rigs, like top-of-the-line PC rigs, that are like 2-3 Gs each, and they don't even do 4K. They do it, but not well.
Yeah.
And then you got to think about it. That's on a 24-inch screen.
Yeah.
Now that asshole's hooking it up to his 55-inch in his living room. We don't have that yet. We're not there. Yeah. Not at the cost price they need to be at. Mm-hmm. What I can see a 4K is just that it pushes 4K Blu-rays.
It just upscales, right? It's just going to upscale.
Well, not even upscales. Excuse me. They have actual 4K support on Blu-rays now. They sell 4K Blu-rays now. Like Deadpool, that's going to come out in 4K. But a PS4 right now can't play that in 4K. Mm-hmm. You have to get a new Blu-ray player for it. So my thought is that's what it is.
Okay.
And if they make minimal upgrades like the PS2 and the PS3 Slim, where they put like the little bit better CPU and a little bit better, I think they just did a little bit better CPU, so it goes a little faster, I don't give a shit. But if they make it that there's literally a 2-tiered system, that's fucked.
Yeah.
What do you think, Var?
I have a fear that down the road it's going to be what you want, and they're going to sell you a system and be like, you're going to have to update this
Yep.
every couple of years
Yep.
to keep with it. What I think they'll do now, because they understand their market, I don't think you're going to have a 2-tier system that's going to say, well, we've got this exclusive game coming out, but if you still own the original PS4,
Yep.
you can't play it.
Yeah.
If they're dumb enough to do that, then they're just setting the matches to their own destruction. But if they do it where it's just loads a little faster,
Yeah.
and it has more potential than that, but you never market it as, and you never have games that can't be played on it. You just tell people loads a little faster, and there's tons more potential that you just lie in wait down the road for. But yeah, it'll just load your games a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
But then what's the point of buying that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have to give you a good enough reason to buy it, but not a good enough reason that pisses off the 30 million people who bought a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. One, I think, and this could just be me, I think with gamers as they are, there's going to be a group that no matter what you say about it,
yeah, of course,
they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Two, this still is marketing to the people who don't own it.
Yeah.
And I think that's in and of itself, if you don't push it too hard. If it's all you see on commercials, on the internet, but then plugging it and having way too high hopes with it, be worried.
Yeah.
If you don't push it that hard and just tell them, well, here's an alternative.
Yeah.
Or if they what they originally did with the PS2, it's just a style alternative.
Yeah, they're like, hey, this is just the new one. So this is our new SKU. We're going to phase out the old one. Here we are.
Yeah.
I think that's what they have to do. I think you're right, Var, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they, man, if they go, because to me, as the consumer, to me, if they came out with a much more powerful 4.5, I'm not buying it. And I don't know that I'd buy a PlayStation 5. Because why are they going to release 5.5 in 2 years?
There you go. Yeah.
Like, do I just wait a minute? Like, I'm confused now. And I think it's very mixed. I know.
It would be way more terrifying if the reports are just put aside and just like, we're introducing the PS 4.1.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
There's so many before 10 and before PS5. 4.2, 4.3. Every year, just a new...
Year 2, year 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
yeah, it's got to be beginning of the console generation.
Yeah, Nintendo's going to save everybody, right, Phil? It's going to save everyone.
That's not the Nintendo I know.
Oh,
I lived through a completely different Nintendo, apparently.
First of all, here's my problem with this fucking NX rumors, right? Is NX rumors put out this handheld thing, and everybody, every website, every Twitter, tweet, whatever.
You were about to say twatter.
Every single one of them
just
goes, "Murr, it doesn't look like a regular controller," and I almost lost my goddamn mind.
Because you don't want that.
Well, we've been bitching about change forever. All we do is bitch about, oh man, they look the same. Oh, they do almost the same thing. Oh my god, they're almost the same. And then Nintendo's like, well, here's one with no buttons on it. Obviously, all conjecture. No buttons on it. You can take it on the go with you. Your games will play on it. It hooks up to the console when you get home. Have a great day. Why isn't it a regular controller? Like, oh, that drives me up the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Where have you been forever?
I know, but that's the shit that gets me mad. Because that's the same shit.
That's the internet.
That's the same shit that stopped Microsoft from actually making a different console than Sony did.
Yeah.
Because their original idea for the Xbox, I fucking loved.
I know.
And then they were like, no, don't do it. So then we just got two of the exact same consoles.
And now their Kinects are being used for robots. Because the Kinect's awesome.
Also because they take over the world.
That's not true. Did you guys see that video? I think I showed Phil it. The Atlas robot. You guys haven't seen that video?
The one they kept knocking down?
Yeah. Did you see it with the voiceover that says WTF Kevin?
No.
So look it up on YouTube. So it's the voiceover. And you've seen the video. He has a hockey stick. He kind of moves a box, and so they give there's a voiceover of a guy pretending to be the robot.
Yeah.
And the guy that actually pushes the Atlas robot is in every video with like that like the versions of the Atlas robot. He's the one that pretty much knocks the. There's a dog version of the Atlas robot that he kind of pushes. And by the way, if you've seen the dog one, it's terrifying. It's fucking terrifying, but it's still awesome. But yeah, the
legs like
Just you think this guy has nightmares of IBM's Watson?
He's gonna be the first guy. I'm telling you, he's definitely gonna be the first guy. But he pushes Kevin. He pushes the robot, and the robot's like, "Oh, you think you're funny guy? Fucking Kevin!" Like it's really funny. Check it out.
Maybe that's why Google sold Boston Dynamics, because Google is actually run by an AI. They saw that video and were like, "This guy's fucking gone."
Yeah. He works for us.
Alphabet.
Yeah.
Alphabet is selling Boston Dynamics.
Well, they have their own. I think they have their own subdivision. That's why. But that's for another podcast. So final topic. So out of the three of us, we have a thinker of the group. Me and Phil, we like to think we think.
You're overselling this. All right, let me do this. This is on me. This is on me.
It's a new segment.
All right. So I think covering the news is an efficient way to stay in balance with the gaming community.
Okay.
But I think sometimes we just need to sit back and remember the dumb things that make us gamers.
Okay.
So sometimes I wonder questions about my gaming history, and I think about it for you guys too. So I have a question for you, because Var wonders.
All right.
I wonder, what's the last game or a significant game that you played, never beat, and wish you had?
Ooh, I got one right off the rip.
That's all you.
And I still own it, actually, because I think I say to myself I'm gonna beat it. Is Metal Gear Solid 5. Like
That's funny. That's
yeah,
funny.
that right off the bat, like I think that's one that sticks in my head because, like, I know I want to beat it, but it's just, you know, and I mentioned this when it first released, like I don't like the layout of the game enough to beat it. Like I enjoy the game, like the gameplay, because it's Metal Gear, but the layout of the missions, and it's the same problem I had with Portable Ops and Peace Walker, where it's like, just give me a linear narrative because that's what you're good at, you know. And that's what they are good at. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the other ones are minus 5. Yeah, that's definitely one that, like, off the top of my head, I think I want to beat. I'm worried I'm never gonna beat it. I still own it because I'm telling myself I want to beat it. I just don't know that's gonna happen. That's, you know, it sucks, you know, because I think over time, you know, we have ADD with certain games, you know, like it's like
just in general.
Or just in general, you're right. You know.
I don't think it's just that. A big part of this for me is, I think there's a time frame. I think because there are so many games that come out and they all have their own hype train. Eventually, it's just like that game I never beat, I'm never gonna beat.
Yeah.
Unless there's an HD remaster and all that stuff that makes the old game a new game.
Yeah.
Whatever have you. But generally speaking, there's a time frame for us beating just about every game we play.
Yeah.
Until we don't have the interest in it, albeit maybe because our friends have introduced us to a game that just seems more exciting, or we've actually lost interest in the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I ask, and I'm still waiting for Phil's answer, so I'm just buying him time. One of the reasons I ask is because I think it's a good sign when you still think about that game. That it shows a lot of value in it. Because you've beaten games since.
Phil doesn't beat games.
So here's my thing. Jason knows this. The world out there can know it now. I don't beat games. I don't fucking beat games. One of my biggest, when I talk about a game, one of the biggest indications if I like it, if I beat that fucker. Like, if I beat that fucker, that should be like the holy shit. That must be a pretty decent game. Like,
Yeah.
he actually cared. Look, so a perfect example. I'll give you 2 examples. One, remember that Golden Sun game I kept talking about?
Yeah.
No, I haven't touched it in like a month.
You saw that coming.
Yeah, so like, and I was legit probably halfway through, and I was just like, "Hey, man, I'm good." So I walked away from it. I don't beat games, and my best example of that is when I was a younger person, somewhere in my 20s. I'm really bad at age and life. I had knee surgery, right? So I was laid up for 6 months. I was pretty much couldn't do for the first 3 months really do much of anything. I made a list of all the games I had and all the games I wanted to beat. I beat 0 games on that list. I had literally 3 months of just in my house and beat none of those games.
Yeah.
I don't beat games. I have the same problem with TV shows, where I get to a point where it just loses interest, and it really takes something good or special about a game to make me beat it. So like a good example for that would be like Dying Light. I beat Dying Light because I loved the shit out of it.
It's a good game.
It was just the gameplay about it, everything like that was about it. Fallout 4 I beat, but I like forced myself to beat it. Like I was like, oh, I guess I'll keep going, and that was like, I'm not touching a single side mission after this. I'm not touching anything but the main storyline, and like I'm gonna beat it to just be like I beat it. Otherwise, I don't beat games.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this about Fallout too. So I beat Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. It took me, from when I first played it, it probably took me another like, I think I beat it like 3 years after it was released. I might have bought it one more time, or maybe I played a version of yours or something, but I didn't beat it initially. Fallout 4 I beat initially. I think Fallout 4 is easier to beat than Fallout 3. I just think it the way it's laid out is it's more linear than people think.
It's very linear.
And with Fallout 3 you have the option of being linear. With those games in general, like they can be relatively linear, but you need certain you need to be strong enough to not die in certain parts of the game. But there were so many gimmicks. I beat that game, Fallout 4, the last level. I was so underpowered.
Yeah.
But the fact that your companions don't really die, and then there was other people shooting and stuff, I would just literally stay around the corner, fire, go back, stay around the corner, fire, go back. It was much easier for me to beat that game than I remember me beating Fallout 3. And I think, Phil's right. There's, and Var, you said it, there's certain games that, it just, you move from one game to the other. There's so many games out there, and, attention spans are so short now, even Rise of Tomb Raider, I just couldn't do it. I really couldn't.
I beat that one. I really like.
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
You just beat that one. Look at that. See, that's a good game.
That's one I beat. I've noticed I beat more this generation than all other generations combined.
Yeah.
I have a feeling though, from what I've played, even the hard games this generation, that they're designed to be beatable.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So that goes back to my Dark Souls thing.
I think you need them to, based on what we just talked about. If people can't see the light at the end of the tunnel,
But that goes back to my Dark Souls. Give it a difficulty level, because I'd love to see the story. But I never will unless I watch Twitch. Also, the story's convoluted. Let's not go down that road.
I was about to say, you'd love to see the story. We all would. I beat all of them. I'd love to see the story.
But you know what I mean? You'd love to have that option of being able to actually get through the game, because I think our mindset changed a lot in development from, let me make these really hard things that test people and only a few get to beat them. Mm-hmm. And then people went, well, why would I spend 10 hours making one thing in a game that one person's going to see?
Yeah.
I'll just put that 10 hours into the rest of the game. Yeah. And then everyone gets it. And I do. I think it's become easier to beat games.
Yeah. And I think, there's so many definitions of beating a game too.
That's true.
There's different you have the Division, you can't really beat. I mean, you can beat it, but there's still end game content and stuff like that. There's also different ways to have games perceived, like we talked earlier about experience-based games where you're like Telltale games.
Yeah.
You can dump 12 hours in and be done with it because it's so story driven, so narrative driven. It's still a game by definition because you're interacting with it and things like that. But there's games that are far less interactive.
Yep.
Literally point and click and rare, from here and there, and those are still considered games and not like a movie and stuff like that. There's just so much out there.
Too much.
Yeah, it's too much. It's
There's
too much.
Too much out there.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a lot of shit out there.
Yeah,
just
there's
shit. Like
that's why that's why I get so frustrated with. I don't get frustrated with Steam, but I get overwhelmed.
Their Steam is like someone threw up.
Yeah, it's like
every once in a while you get a non-eaten apple that they throw up, and then you play that. But you gotta brush off some of the bullshit.
Yeah. Wow. That was a very accurate, disgusting example. What about you, Var? Which game have you beat that you wish you did?
I never beat Code Veronica. Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Oh, that's a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Var beats his games. Var's the opposite of me.
Yeah, Var's more of a completionist than both of us combined, I think.
Yeah, he is like, hey, I got this game. I'm going to dump 3 months into it.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. 3 months. XCOM, you put like 120 hours in, like, no.
XCOM's a different level. That's just heroin to that kid.
Yeah.
Somehow I put 120 hours in XCOM in 100 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like Var.
Even when he's sleeping, it's just fucking going.
Yeah.
That's speaking of when you guys are, what you guys just said about games being easier to beat now.
Mm-hmm.
Reason I never beat Code Veronica is because I got in a boss fight with 1 bullet.
No.
And I shot that bullet at him, and it didn't kill him.
So you're like, you're done?
So it's over.
Yeah. Moving on from here. And
that's a weird thing to do. How the fuck did you do that? There's bullets everywhere.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
You're thinking of Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6.
No.
Which are coming back.
Code Veronica 4 wasn't that scarce with ammo. You must have burned through some ammo, man.
I really didn't. I ran
Good.
away from everything.
You ran away from everything?
Because they were slow.
You know what scares me? Those moths. Those are terrible.
All the zombie versions of actual animals.
Terrifying.
I just try to burn them out of my brain.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Zombie people doesn't really bother me much.
Yeah, zombie
Giant
animal.
zombie frog?
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh.
Giant zombie frog. Yeah, I think I'm gonna beat Metal Gear. We'll see.
I hope you do.
I need to. I need to finish it.
No, but here's the thing, like, and I think this is both, we got to it, me a little later, but with The Division, we look at it and we go, why? Like, I could be playing The Show, which I genuinely enjoy. I could be playing Diablo, which I enjoy. Why the fuck am I going to finish this game that is like, well, I bought it, so I might as well. It's like when Var plays Madden, you know? He's like, why the fuck would I play Madden when I could play XCOM?
It's not true at all. I love playing a franchise in Madden, but sometimes when I play my closest friends, there's elements to them that are just dark.
God.
Var, just run the fucking ball.
Yeah. All you do is throw.
I just see a judgmental side of my closest friend that I didn't know was in there.
Yeah. Well,
didn't expect him to be like that.
It's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You mean?
You're such a prick when we play
It's not my fault. No. I give you guys chances.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You giving us a chance is just intercepting it, not running it back for 6 points. That's what you consider giving us a
Listen,
chance.
the alternative is me just putting the controller down. So
it's conflicted, to be honest.
For that, you might like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
For 2 drives per game, you can't touch a button. That's just how that works.
Fair enough.
Or there's a ban where you can't say "that's mine" every time I throw the ball, because you magically have a linebacker jumping in the fucking air.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's me.
Jumps at once.
I have, like, half the time I feel like he started to jump before I threw the ball.
It's the crossing route. Var's throwing it. Let me get there first.
How did this become an examination of my douchery?
Because evident.
There's
in
so
my
much
ad.
evidence.
Yeah.
Oh well. So on that note,
Oh yeah.
minus my douchery, let us know what games or games specifically you guys want to beat but haven't and maybe never will. With that said, this has been Last Level Gamescast episode 21. Bye.
Bye.
Dude.